So I'm going to go over how to use the fentanyl test strips and how to read it. You can test any sort of substance that you think could possibly have fentanyl. And that can be heroin, that can be pills, that can be meth, that can be benzos. You're going to test the residue of any of that substance. You're going to draw up your shot from your lid, from your cooker, and then you're going to want to put this off to the side, because the most important part here is to make sure that you're testing before you use, because if there is fentanyl in there, then you can try test dosing. You can make sure that you have naloxone and other people are around, just so that you reduce your risk of overdosing. So once you pull up your shot, you're going to take some water, and I suggest doing about 7 drops into where the residue is. Open up your strip, and you're going to dip it into the water for about 15 seconds. You will see a pink start coming up once it starts absorbing it. Once you see that pink in this window over here, that's when you know there's enough water, and you can pull it out of the substance. Right there, it's starting to come up, so you can pull it off to the side and let that process. I'm going to do 2 different tests. One will be positive and one will be negative. So same process for this. You're going to bring up your shot, dilute it with about 7 drops of water, and stick the test strip in it, white side down. All right, I'm starting to see the pink wick up through the white window. Put that aside and let it process. You can read it in about 5 minutes, or until that pink is wicked all the way through to the end of the white window. So on the back of every pack, there is a little key that says positive or negative. 1 line is positive and 2 lines are negative. That can be very, very confusing, because a lot of times with the test that we do, 2 lines always means a positive, but not on these specific tests. All right, so they're done processing, and this has 1 line from this cap over here, and that means that fentanyl was detected and fentanyl is present in the substance. And this cap over here has 2 lines, which means that there was no fentanyl present in this specific substance. All right, now let's talk about testing meth. Meth just requires a little bit more water. I guess I should say a lot more water. The reason why you have to dilute meth down so much is because a false positive will come up if it's not diluted enough. I know it seems ridiculous or that it's an extra step, but it is critical that you dilute meth with at least a 1/2 cup of water, so that you don't get a false positive, and so that you know what you're using. So this kind of shows us, if you do not have a measuring cup, this is a 1/2 cup of water in a big gulp cup. This is a smaller cup, and then a water bottle with the top cut off. Once you get a 1/2 cup of water, I mean, I understand it's not going to be precise, but at least you can kind of start eyeballing it. Once you have that water in there, you're going to want to put the residue from the meth in. You don't want to test shards, specifically residue, and same process. You then put the strip in for 15 seconds and then read it within 5 minutes. So it's the reason why we have these strips, and the reason why we are giving these out, is because it's so important to be able to know what substance you're using. Fentanyl is very, very potent and is in substances that you aren't aware. So if there is fentanyl present, and you are aware of that, it can reduce your risk of overdosing. Things you want to do are do a test shot if fentanyl is present. Make sure you have naloxone. Make sure that you aren't using alone.